What I want to go over with you in this segment is just a brief introduction to the 4 major killers to a good relationship. And this comes from the Gottmans, and I'm going to review those 4. They are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Really enjoy and appreciate this book. It's called Helping Couples. It was written for therapists and helping with marriages. So it's a great book, and we're going to go over those briefly. Criticism. So every fight begins with a critical comment. You always make us late, for example. Criticizing your partner is different than offering a critique or voicing a complaint. And now, if you can understand the difference and deliver the difference, you will be way more effective. And really the difference is if we're coming from the good wolf or we're coming from the bad wolf. I mentioned that in the earlier video. In the book, Why Marriages Succeed or Fail by Gottman, they point out that complaints attack a situation that can be improved. Nothing wrong with that. Complaining keeps us honest and authentic. When you complain, you don't blame, but criticism, on the other hand, attacks the person. So when you criticize, you're attacking the other person's character. And when you criticize your partner, that destroys relationship. You can complain, you can talk and share. Now you're working as a team to work on how to improve the marriage. And so that's what you want to do. Criticism hurts, makes things worse, and complaining is something that you can, with good, healthy, good wolf, 2 good adults being respectful, you can work through those things. Okay, so the next one is contempt. What is that? Dr. Gottman explains, contempt is so lethal to love that it ought to be outlawed. He went on to tell us that how predictive contempt is of turmoil and eventual divorce for couples. So when there's contempt, that's like cancer to a relationship. It doesn't mean the relationship will or has to end, but if it continues, it does destroy relationship. So that's a very important one to get a handle on. So what is contempt? Contempt is any belittling remark that makes your spouse feel about an inch tall. It's often sarcastic, caustic, mocking, and downright mean. In fact, it doesn't even have to be spoken. It can happen when a spouse rolls their eyes at their partner. That's without saying anything. Contempt conveys disdain, disapproval, and dishonor. In short, contempt conveys disrespect. So when you disrespect your partner, you're being contemptuous and you're destroying the relationship. And if you really want a relationship, avoid contempt, because this takes a lot of work and effort to overcome contempt. It's like poison. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure, so avoid contempt. Okay, so defensiveness. You're just blocking. We get into that when we are in the survival bad wolf side. So that defensiveness we want to avoid. When a marriage is on the rocks, we often get into that self-protection survival mode, and it makes it very difficult to make progress when you're in that defensiveness. Basically, if you're in the defense, that means the other person's in the offense. You're not working as a team. You're in opposition of each other. So we want to avoid that. So it is a self-protective armor that we put on in the form of righteous indignation or innocent victimhood in an attempt to ward off a perceived threat. It's almost never successful. Excuses just tell a partner that they're not taken seriously, which perpetuates the tension and sometimes propels it into high gear. That's why effective marriage champions help couples learn to make a habit of setting aside their defensive armor. Okay, so when a person's defensive, they're not feeling safe. So in another module, I talked about creating that safety to lower those defensive walls, create safety and harmony, and then you can have a great, calm, successful conversation moving forward. The fourth of the ones mentioned is stonewalling. Typically, a response to contempt is a partner withdraws from the interaction. When your partner withdraws or shuts down or simply stops responding. That's stonewalling. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear you. I'm not listening. I don't care. That is stonewalling. So rather than confronting the issue in a healthy way, they turn away, they act busy, or engage in distracting behaviors. So unfortunately, stonewalling isn't easy to stop. It's a result of feeling physiologically flooded. A person can be mean by stonewalling, but also for the person wanting to be heard, it's good to recognize. Most often, if a person is stonewalling, that means they're emotionally, they've filled up to here, and they're ignoring you because they really can't hear anymore. It's not worth to continue to talk. If you're being stonewalled, stop talking. Again, that's covered in the other video about creating safety. When a person's flooded, the brain is hijacked, the cognitive brain is shut down. We're not thinking anymore. We're just checking out. So we need to address that. So more often than not, men stonewall more than women, but there are some women that do that as well. Women typically get more into criticism and men get more into stonewalling. Those interplay with each other a lot. So we want to eliminate both of those, stonewalling and criticism. Again, I refer you to the other video on creating safety, a way of eliminating both. So those are the 4 behaviors to stay away from: the criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. You want to eliminate those completely out of your relationship. So having heard that now, what do you do? When you eliminate that, what are you supposed to do? So that's in the other video that I will cover on what are the 4 win-win things to accomplish. The 4 key elements to pursue that help every relationship improve. So we'll see you at the next video.